Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the finale review for X-Men Season 2, X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 9, Survival of the Fittest. Now, let me start by saying my expectations for this episode were pretty sky high, right? We've gotten a pretty good season so far. I wanted to see how it stuck the landing. Let me say that it kind of does. This episode's not great. It kind of pains me to say that. You can hear the pain in my voice. It's not because I've got a cold. Uh, this is kind of painful to me to like not have a season finale that is on par with the finale from last season, and this whole season's a slight drop in quality from last season, which is not really that concerning. The season is still very good, but it is a little frustrating because it could mean the next two are even worse. I hate to say that because I don't think it's true, but I have to be honest. This episode starts off with that alliance between X Force and X Factor that we saw in the previous episode getting set up. They set out to kill Gambit, to end Apocalypse by killing Gambit. Beast Rogue and Nightcrawler find Ship, which is Apocalypse's ship, in an effort to reverse the process that turned En Sabandor into Apocalypse. Rogue enters that Celestial Shrine area where he gained his powers. Apocalypse gained his powers. Dr. Cooper refuses to allow Xavier to harbor Gambit, and they begin attacking X-Corps, while the X-Men buy that time for Rogue to fix up Gambit and hopefully save him. Rogue tries to convince Isan to help. Isan's a Celestial that is he was in the MCU as the holder of the Power Stone, but she's trying to convince him to help. And then first of all removes the amulet that she was wearing from the last episode. They were like, "You're not supposed to have that," which was funny. Isan declares that life cannot advance with mercy and needs Apocalypse to advance through struggle. Rogue attempts to strike him, only by doing so, does Isan give her that ultimatum of, look, if you're going to do this, if you're going to bring Gambit back from the dead, you need to die yourself. Very much like the Soul Stone, right? A soul for a soul. It's the same deal here. So Rogue gets powers of Apocalypse for one final fight against Apocalypse, reemerging from the Celestial, having done that deal. Cable then faces off against Cyclops and Jean Grey while they're attempting to get through to him. Storm and Forge are disabling Sentinels outside the tower. Wolverine and Morph, in a very cool sequence, face off against Archangel and Psylocke. You don't know that it's Morph immediately. He transforms into Wolverine, or they transform into Wolverine. My apologies. And from there, you see now there's two Wolverines fighting against Psylocke and Archangel, which is pretty cool. It was a nice sequence. I enjoyed it. Jubilee fights Havoc in a plane. They are both in ships, and so that's kind of what. So Jubilee isn't really using her powers; it's sort of just tactical aerial skills. And Polaris and Bishop fight other X Factor members until Gambit is resurrected and goes to help them. Cable is forced to completely destroy the X-Core tower, reaches Gambit, and then shoots him in the head. This speeds up Apocalypse's reawakening, now fully taking over Gambit's body. Apocalypse then completely destroys the X-Men and the X-Force and takes over their minds, which leaves only Xavier to fight him. Rogue then arrives with the powers of Apocalypse, cleanses everybody, sealing Apocalypse's mind in this crystal, and then giving that to Cable, saying basically, Cable, now you're going to have to live with Apocalypse for the rest of your life. But again, this whole thing is about as quick as I've described it, right? It's very anticlimactic, it's very quick. By the time that Apocalypse is resurrected, we only have 12 minutes left in the total episode, and there's like 7 minutes of credits. So yeah, there's not really a lot of time to resolve this conflict, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with this episode. Rogue and Gambit kiss, and I think this might be the first time in the entire series that has happened, but I can't be too sure. Rogue loses the celestial power, but she does not lose her life, as we learn that Nightcrawler went to Isan to sacrifice himself instead for Rogue. Now, this is the emotional through line of the entire season. It's not built up well. Nightcrawler has obviously demonstrated that he's capable of doing this, and it is a sad moment. But I do feel like more Nightcrawler focus would have really helped us hammer this point home further. Even more Rogue focus would have helped hammer this point further. I'm sad that Nightcrawler is no longer alive. Do I think he's gone forever? I don't know, because then they're putting him in Doomsday, right? So, like, I know it's a different Nightcrawler, but the point still stands that, like, if you've got a popular if he becomes popular out of Doomsday, are you really going to be like, yeah, we don't want him in X-Men 97 anymore? I don't know. I don't think so. The same thing kind of happened with Gambit. Right? You did X-Men 97 season 1. Gambit proved to be a popular character from that, and he was popular in Deadpool and Wolverine, and lo and behold, he's back. I'm fine with Resurrections. I'm saying that I don't think this point is going to hit home as hard as it could. Uh, in the post-credit scene, we see Mystique killing Dr. Cooper and assuming her identity as Graydon Creed is elected president, which again, I don't really know why Graydon Creed would be elected president. I guess through all the facts, the problems of X Factor, X Force, and the X Men, people are just sick and tired of mutants, and so they elect Graydon Creed. It feels almost like rehashing plot lines from Daredevil Born Again, right? Where Fisk is mayor, not president, but it's that same sort of line of like, okay, we've got this clear authoritarian fascist now running the world. It's not a bad through line. It's something we're seeing in our real lives, but I'm just saying that like at a certain point, you've gotten the message across. You can keep doing it, but it's going to lose its effectiveness over time because you're just going to keep doing it in all your projects. Um, anyway, that's all I really have to say about X-Men Season 2, Episode 9. I, it's rushed. I don't really know what else to tell you. Would it have benefited from an extra episode? Yeah. Yeah, it would have. The main plot, it's very much a Creature Commandos problem, right? Where like the main plot of this story is maybe longer than Creature Commandos for sure, but it's really about 5 episodes, maybe 6 episodes, but they want to fill in the time, right? So you've got essentially what is a 3-hour movie, but you want to fill in more time, so you go ahead and you do it, and you add in 3 more episodes that ultimately provide us some character development, but don't really give us any further than that. If I could re-rate episodes, I'd probably be rating everything about a point lower. Um, However, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to my ratings before. I gave this episode a 6 out of 10 because it's not a bad episode. That by no means. It's just not the finale. It doesn't feel like a finale. I guess the good part is that we have 2 more seasons to wait for. So like, yeah, it's probably not really the finale at all, but it's just like this is clearly the finale of this particular plot line. Season 3 and season 4 are going to have to resolve this new Mystique thing. And I'm okay with that. It's an interesting political dilemma, but I'm just saying that like really it's not really like I don't think it's a full season storyline. Like I don't know. That being said, if we take the averages of every episode that I've reviewed, you come about to an 8 out of 10, which I think is maybe again a little bit higher than I would have thought for the whole season. Um, if I could go back in time, I'd probably again have lowered some of these ratings. But an 8 out of 10 is what I'm going to give X-Men 97 season 2 preliminary. Um, Before that's not the right word. That's what I'm going to give it for my first watch. Preliminary. What am I talking about? Maybe when I go and rewatch it before season 3 or just in the future, I'll probably dock it an extra point or two. But certainly not a bad season of television, for sure. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'm going to see you guys in a year for the X-Men 97 season 3 reviews. Till then, take care. Peace.